By suppressing the hard conversation or turning your back on it, you're avoiding conflict. It's not something a lot of us can avoid forever because you're afraid of what the repercussions may be. The unknown is usually the biggest reason for avoidance of hard conversation. Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Nash, where I talk to the camera without any preconceived idea of what I'm going to speak about, nor a script, and just one chain of continuous, conscious thought. And something that has come up this week for me is hard conversations. There have been a few hard conversations, one in particular that I'll share later, on what it means to navigate through a difficult situation, not only with yourself but with someone else. This could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a lover. And the hard conversations are what tend to shape us and help us grow into a different version of ourselves. Now, hard conversations, it's hard to judge. You know, everyone's level of easy, medium, difficult is varying depending on the situation at hand. Everyone is different. For some people, having a hard conversation, one particular hard conversation, could be easy for someone else, of course. So it's really about understanding how you navigate through these difficult situations to have this hard conversation with someone. Are you going to stick by your guns? Are you going to go into a hard conversation knowing what the outcome is? Are you going to have complete clarity of exactly what the outcome you want to happen with this hard conversation? Or are you going to jump straight into a hard conversation without any idea of what the outcome is going to be? You can go one way or the other. You know, this could almost come back to a thought spoken about by Stephen Covey in 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People, where you can have an individual, an independent person. In this sense, an independent thought. You can have a codependent relationship, where in this case you have a hard conversation with two participants speaking on a very agreeable level, which is always a beautiful thing as well. Or you can have the interdependent relationship, where if you're having a hard conversation, to have an interdependent conversation, it's not necessarily going to be difficult. It may seem like a hard conversation, but when two like minds get together to discuss a topic or a situation where you're both understanding of one another, you will come to a conclusion. Now, it's not always necessary to come to a conclusion. Sometimes the most difficult things about a hard conversation is that you're having this hard conversation because something is already absolute. A decision has already been made. Now, it doesn't mean that this was an easy decision to come across. Neither one of the parties, one party may not have expected it, the other party may have been suppressing a feeling for far too long and had finally built up the courage to speak out. And I think that's one of the most important things, to not suppress an emotion, not to suppress information that should be known by another party because you're looking to avoid a hard conversation. Having a hard conversation is absolutely necessary for the growth of two people to continue moving on in their lives, however that may look. By suppressing the hard conversation or turning your back on it, putting it on the back burner, whichever way you want to see that, You're avoiding conflict. You're avoiding what's necessary to continue walking down a path that sets you apart from a version of you that isn't willing to grow, isn't willing to progress, is cowering away by their own insecurities. The insecurity of not being able to accept that sometimes conflict, sometimes a discussion is needed. So, how do you approach these situations? Are you someone that chooses to suppress, chooses to constantly dwell on a conversation that is very much needed to have with someone they could be important to you? They could be a landlord. You've broken something and you are avoiding a difficult conversation in speaking to your landlord because you don't know what they're going to say. And see, that's just part of what a hard conversation is. The unknown of not knowing what the other person, the other party, is going to be contributing to that conversation. And that's what makes them so hard in the first place. Not knowing. It's also what makes hard conversations so beautiful. It makes them beautiful because you will have to unravel. You will have to unveil emotions set in this other party to understand how you can progress. Hard conversations are necessary in life. If you're getting by without having any hard conversations, well, good for you. But it's not something a lot of us can avoid forever. So when you have a hard conversation, when you're thinking about this outcome, are you avoiding this hard conversation because you're afraid of the outcome? Because you're afraid of what the repercussions may be if this person either doesn't agree with you, if this person decides to turn their back on you and say goodbye forever. They're hard conversations for a reason. And the unknown is usually the biggest reason for avoidance of hard conversation. But if you see it like this, who are you to have the control over how someone should understand your own truth? If it is a truth that resides deep within you, shouldn't that be easily exposable to the world? You should be able to expose your truth to the world. And for a lot of people, the most honest truth usually means the hardest conversation. Suppressed feelings. Suppressed feelings will ultimately begin to eat you. Begin to devour any chance you have of being able to speak with clarity in an eloquent way towards someone when you are having a conversation that needs to have an outcome in your favour. And it's not always going to fall into your favour. And as soon as you accept that, harder conversations become a lot easier. Knowing that you don't have to always be right. Understanding that, hey, sometimes the opposing party may bring to the table a perspective that you weren't capable of seeing before. They will absolutely surprise you in what they bring to the table in this conversation. We're creatures that are very acclimatized to catastrophizing difficult situations, difficult and hard conversations, expecting the worst before we even take that leap into understanding in the first place. Oh, if I have this conversation with this person, they're going to hate me forever. Oh, if I tell this person about this next particular move of mine, they're not going to be able to look me in the eye in the same way ever again. But this is where we come back to, why should you hide your truth from anyone? If it's your truth, you should be walking and embodying that truth. Being prepared to expose your word, especially to this person. Once again, whether that's a friend, a family member, or a lover. If they love you unconditionally, they will understand. They will be able to hear what you're saying. They'll be able to have this discussion. It won't be a debate. Not that debate is a bad thing. Debate can be a very, very healthy thing, of course. But coming back to hard discussions, hard conversations, bringing to the table a difficult conversation that I had to have this week. For the past few months, I've been walking beside a gorgeous woman, and she has been an absolute light in my life and someone that I appreciate and have an incredible amount of love for, that's helped me grow, and someone that I've been able to grow beside and see her growth in this world. And it's a fantastic thing when you're walking beside someone and you are not just an accessory, you're not just an acquaintance, but you can be someone that's just there for them. Someone to hold space. It's a beautiful thing. And the hard conversation came up because an opportunity arose for me, and this opportunity is related to something that I've been working on for a very long time. And it was a very difficult thing to hear in the first place, and to then have that internal discussion, that internal hard conversation with myself, weighing up priorities in my life and what the best pathway for me may be in the short term. Sometimes it's not about looking deep into the future. It's not about looking at your past. It's about understanding yourself in the present and trying to understand what's best for you. And sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we don't know, and this is the most difficult thing about having a hard conversation, because if you don't know what the outcome is, you're delving into the unknown. And to have a conversation with someone, especially a close one like I had to, I didn't know the outcome of the conversation. I barely know the outcome of what this particular leap into the future is going to hold for me. And to reassure me in understanding that I had connected with someone with such a beautiful headspace, having this conversation, yes, it was hard at first. It was hard during. And looking back, it was a hard conversation. Nothing's going to change that now in the present. That conversation was a difficult one. But I was very lucky in the sense that the space was held. I was able to hold space for this loved one, and this loved one was able to hold space for me. In expressing the deepest truth, in expressing a situation that required a temporary, a way of that required us to part ways. And it was received with love. It was received in a way that was far better than what my brain was catastrophizing it to be. And deep down I know that we will both grow. We'll both continue growing in the most magnificent way I've known any human beings to grow and progress. So, having these hard conversations is a necessity if you're looking to grow. If you're looking to progress in ways that help you understand yourself, in ways that will reveal to you a deeper sense of understanding of your future and where you are going, then have the hard conversation. You know, in the world we live now, how we choose to converse with each other has changed dramatically. You know, people are consuming 6-second reels every day, and that suddenly becomes the basis of where their conversations will probably lead throughout the week, and without speaking to anyone during that time. For a lot of us, we're walking around, we see people walking around in the supermarkets, heads down, looking at a phone. You know, if you were to walk into a Coles or a Woolworths and speak to 10 people, how many of those people are going to be absolutely conscious and capable of having a deep conversation with you? There's only one way to find out, right? You may even bring up a difficult conversation for them to see how they react. A lot of people these days don't have the capacity to react and converse in a way that's constructive for both of you in a healthy debate, because they've been so suppressed by how this world tends to work at the moment. It's a very unfortunate thing to see, But there is hope. Putting the device away, picking up a book, reading 10 pages, whether it's a topic you love, whether it's a topic you don't fully understand, this will give you a deeper knowledge into being able to express your thoughts, your wisdom, through hard conversations when they do arise, in ways that you probably wouldn't be able to foresee as you're reading. Okay, bit of a tangent there. But ultimately, all I have to say is that when you need to have a hard conversation, don't suppress it. Push yourself forward into the hard conversation. If it requires you to do some research, don't watch a whole bunch of reels from different therapists around the world. Read an article. Find a book that talks about these particular emotions. Try to understand your emotion rather than suppressing it. It will absolutely help with a difficult situation and a hard conversation. So, anyway, I don't want to ramble anymore. We're going to have 3 deep breaths and reflect upon today's conversation. Getting in a comfortable position in either chin or Yana Mudra, straight spine. We're going to inhale. May we release the need to suppress, the need to hold back information from others based on conflict that may not have arisen, and to converse these truths with another party regardless of how difficult the conversation may be. Exhale. Inhale. May we walk forward and progress into our days, not regurgitating information but consuming the right information to allow us to understand these emotions and why a conversation may seem difficult in the first place. Exhale. Inhale. May we stop looking at any conversation on a particular level of difficulty. Rather understand that conversations are required to progress in either self, in our own truth, in the truth of the other, and to progress and grow together regardless of the direction that may take. Exhale. Thank you all for joining me. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you so much for joining, and give this video a little like. It helps my videos reach others. Feel free to comment on something that you may want me to talk about in the future, or create some conversation below. I'll reply and we can go from there. Anyway, hope you're all having a beautiful, marvellous day wherever you may be in the world. I hope you've been enjoying this nature as much as I have. Wishing you all the best. Play safe out there in the world. Be kind with each other. and bless you all.